Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas narrowly defeated a far-right challenger in his GOP primary runoff election last night. Gonzalez, who represents the town of Uvalde, faced attacks from members of his own party after voting in favor of gun safety legislation and a measure that protected same-sex marriage. Despite a massive fundraising operation, Gonzalez's victory was exceedingly tight, with all precincts reporting he led by just about 400 votes. Gonzalez supporters had warned that a loss could open the door for Democrats to flip the district in November. His win now bolsters Republican efforts to potentially hold the House, though most experts think they're still the underdog to do that. Joining us now to talk more on this is MSNBC political analyst Brendan Buck. He was communications strategist and former aide to House Speakers Ryan and Boehner. Brendan, good to see you this morning. So let's talk about Tony Gonzalez. This is his first race since he was censured by the state GOP last year. He squeaked out a win. What lessons can we learn from last night?
Yeah, I think it shows just how narrow the hold is that the sort of governance party of the Republican Party has. I mean, his opponent here is a YouTube content creator. I mean, I think it's a perfect symbol for where the party is right now. You know, sort of the entertainment politics, anything to get clicks versus somebody who was trying to govern. And Tony Gonzalez had set a real record of sort of shunning the far right and doing what he thinks is right, whether it's same-sex marriage, as you said, gun control, but also things just like funding the government and you know, so the basic operations that all of the Freedom Caucus types in Congress dislike. You know, you could say it's a victory for governance, but it was really narrow, and it's a type of thing you wonder, why do Republicans not support gun control? It's things like this. Right. You might narrowly lose your primary to somebody who moves in out of state and talks about AK-15s all the time. It's a very tenuous hold right now that the governance wing has, and I don't know that it's all that encouraging going forward, to be honest.
Yeah, the MAGA wing continues to surge throughout most of the Republican Party. So Gonzalez's challenger was backed by Republican Congressman and Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good, who himself Donald Trump just turned on. We saw, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Trump endorsed Good's challenger in the primary. Give us your read as to where that can tell us about the state of the GOP.
Sure. And just to note how dysfunctional it is that you have all of these members targeting their colleagues in primaries is a thing that would have never happened even 5, 6, 7 years ago. But yeah, Bob Good is the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, the leader of the most far-right caucus in the House. And yet that doesn't seem to matter in a Republican primary right now. It really matters is, do you have Donald Trump's seal of approval? Bob Good endorsed Ron DeSantis in the primary instead of Donald Trump. And he's been trying to get back in his good graces ever since. He went up to New York and tried to be there for the trial to show how much he loves him. But, you know, it's this really depressing situation where you can be as conservative as you want, and that doesn't matter as long as Donald Trump doesn't like you. It may not ultimately decide the race. I think Bob Good will potentially lose for a lot of other reasons. He's not a very effective member of Congress. He's not very good at communicating. But it is a significant symbol to me that Donald Trump's endorsement is key above anything else ideologically. Yeah,
that's a really, really good point. So, Brendan, we are just hours from now when the jury will start deliberating the fate of Donald Trump, the former president of the United States. We may be, later today, next couple of days, we'll get a verdict. I know you speak to Republicans of all stripes all the time. What is their read as to how this, not what the jury will do, but what the political implications would be of a conviction, an acquittal, or a hung jury? What are they saying in how that might impact a very tight race this November?
It's remarkable how little people are concerned about it. I mean, this could be one of the biggest moments in presidential history. And I think people are still shrugging at it. There have been so many times where we are told that this is going to be the moment that everything falls apart for Donald Trump, and people just don't believe it. Certainly, I don't think that this is a good thing for Donald Trump, and don't get me wrong that he won't pay some price. But he has done such a good job convincing people that everything is illegitimate, that people are out to get him, and that you can't trust anything. And his entire strategy is built around turning out base, not appealing to the middle. that the effects, I think, are going to be relatively small. And if we know anything about Donald Trump, he'll make himself a victim and try to make something positive out of it for himself. Maybe that's a false sense of confidence for Republicans. This could be earth-shaking, earth-shattering if he is convicted. But you would not think so, given the calm nature that you hear from a lot of Republicans right now.
Yeah, and the Republicans I speak to say the same. This is sort of baked in. They know who Trump is. They don't think this will change much. With the Biden campaign, they agree. It's not a major event, but even if it moves some voters on the margins in a tight race in some swing states, that might be enough. So we'll all be watching